Miami!
To mission control, we have liftoff.
Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphin City! Phinhub, Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphin Show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHale.
All right, guys, welcome into another episode of the Phinhub Show, powered by BetUS. If you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. Guys, that's YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first deposit. So the Miami Dolphins finally get a win. We beat the New England Patriots 15-10 at New England. Tyler Huntley seems like he's gotten a little bit better with the offense. Jaylen Wright finally got a few extra carries. And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were a little bit more involved in the offense this week. The Dolphins did a great job defensively. Not like they really had to hold the Patriots' onslaught of scoring, but either way, the defense, the Dolphins as a whole played much better this week. Mike McDaniel stuck to a game plan. I think everybody can agree that that's a sight for sore eyes. But what else do you take away from this win?
I think, last week we were talking about the game going into this game, what we felt like the Dolphins should do. I kind of alluded to the fact that I think that the defense needs to make a staple and they have to, find their identity this week and, be that team to push us forward throughout this time without Tua. But I think actually what happened, not necessarily the opposite, but the defense did fantastic, but I think the offense found their momentum. I think they found their identity and what they have to be moving forward. And I think it's great. I think this is the way to win these games. It was an ugly win in a sense, but I think we were shooting ourselves in the foot for most of the game, and this was mostly with special teams. I think there has to be a change there, especially with Crossman. Guy's like a cat, man. He has 9 lives. He's just week in and week out throughout these last few years, it's just always atrocious on special teams. But despite all those lows, those missed kicks, missed opportunities, as far as even holding the ball, just a placeholder, not being able to get it to him cleanly. But I think it was cool. I think it was nice to see that we ran the ball 38 times. Something around there, but it's a lot more than we've been doing these past few weeks, and I think it was fantastic. It was nice to see Jaylen Wright get going too.
Yeah, the Dolphins had a total of 193 rushing yards for the game, so definitely did something right on the ground there. But yeah, I was really surprised with Jaylen Wright, or not surprised, because I feel like I've kind of had this idea that Jaylen Wright might be the best running back on the Miami Dolphins roster, which is something crazy to say. You just had Raheem Mostert last season with, I think it was 21 total touchdowns, 19 of them being on the ground, career season for him. And it was even one of the best in the entire NFL last year. But even still, something about Jaylen Wright spoke to me. Jevon was another guy who a lot of people were high on, myself included, but still, Jaylen Wright, something about his game really spoke to me, and I think we were able to see what he could bring to the table for the Miami Dolphins moving forward, potentially as the lead back, even with a healthy Devon Achane, even with a healthy Raheem Mostert. I would like to see him feature a little bit more, especially with Tua being absent from the game. I think this is a guy that he could be that bell cow guy for you. Just give him the ball enough times, and you could see the way that he moves with patience. He has that burst once he finds the hole. He's a tough physical runner at the same time too. So he's got all the traits you would want from a running back, and I was really impressed with him, and I would love to see him featured a lot more going forward with the Miami Dolphins.
I mean, his vision and speed were on full display yesterday. I think it was fantastic. I saw him he was just using the correct blocks upfield. He was cutting perfectly. This guy, he looks like we got something in him, and I think he should get the ball a lot more. It was nice to see Raheem out there. I think he did a fantastic job as well.
Yeah.
That was a great 1-2 punch. I think the best we've seen in a while, since our Ricky and Ronnie days. I mean, I know it's just one game. Take it with a grain of salt, but still, I mean, it was nice to see, like McDaniel said, an actual identity rather than just like, I felt like they were honestly just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what would stick. And this was nice to see.
Yeah, for the entirety of the game, I think all throughout to the third quarter, we were wondering like, okay, where is the offense going to come into play? Like, where do we find our groove? And I think it really started happening towards the end of the game where I started feeling a little bit more comfortable with us just running the ball. And Tyler Huntley, although his stats don't look too impressive, you could see that he was a little bit more comfortable in the offense a week being removed from that game against the Titans. Yeah. So Tyler Huntley definitely looked better, and I'm curious to see what he's going to look like after the bye week, having another 2 weeks in the offense. That'll be a month from being added to the Miami Dolphins.
So you mentioned one thing there, the operation of the offense. How did you see Snoop operating it this week as opposed to?
Bro, he did his thing this week, man. He was over communicating clarity with clarity, getting the plays in quick, in good fashion. So that way, if he did have motions, he had time to do his thing, and it was a beautiful thing to see. Obviously, we can do better, with things that we can control, like holding, and I believe I had one where it was like the ref told me I was not set before motioning over. So it's a lot of things we can clean up.
This offense has struggled to score early.
It was stuck.
What did it mean to just take that long touchdown drive in the fourth quarter?
Oh man, it was everything. I feel like it was. I feel like I scored when Alex scored that touchdown. I told him, I was like, bro, it felt like I scored. I wanted to celebrate. But that's something that we've been building on. This whole entire week, we had a great week of practice. And that's what it's going to take. Like, in order to be a good offense, in order to, begin to get our rhythm back, you got to have drives like that. You got to have 10-play drives, 17-play drives, to be able to keep the defense off the field. Because our defense, they've been doing a tremendous job all year on, having our back. And, sometimes we got to gut up, excuse my language, and, put together drives like that. So we did a good job of that, man. And Snoop did a great job, too, all day long.
Difference between 2 and 3 versus 1 and 4 during a bye week?
I believe we're the only team in the AFC East that won 2. So that's good news, man. Still early in the year, a lot of things to be corrected, and nobody on this team is going to give up on each other, man. So
I think the run game just allowed for Tyler Huntley to be a little bit more comfortable back there, being able to rely on those guys.
Yeah, and his passing was actually complemented from the run. So I think that was an improvement from, these last 3 games that we've had. But, setting up things great. I think if we can continue this trend and, once Tua comes back, we can actually have a nice run game with his passing ability. I think this offense can start to look more like the offense we had last year. And not to say that we're going to pass as much. I would actually prefer for us not to be that type of passing offense and be this running team, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this is what helps you win games late in the season. You have to run the ball.
Right.
And Mike McDaniel said it too in his press conference. He said, you need to run the ball on teams when they know that you're going to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You have to be able to do that. And that's what's going to win you those games later on in the season. Possibly. I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs, but going into the playoffs as well if we can.
Well, now talking about playoffs, it's nothing crazy to be considering at this moment.
Nope.
I think we've all been down about the Miami Dolphins because we were so high on them coming into the season. And we haven't looked that good. To be fair, we didn't even look great against the Patriots.
No.
We snuck by the Patriots on a touchdown that was called back. We win 15-10, but we also have the Jets struggling, Patriots also struggling, and the Bills just lost against the Houston Texans. And Josh Allen seems like he had a concussion, possibly his second concussion in a row, going back to, what was the week before that?
The Ravens.
Yeah. So they've now lost 2 straight, which is keeping the Dolphins within the hunt. If you look here at the schedule, we have the bye week coming up now, and then we got the Colts. Tua's eligible to come back against the Cardinals in week 8. The Dolphins could put together a run here where they're still alive in the AFC East and still alive in the AFC.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty weak conference right now. AFC is kind of struggling throughout the board. I think we definitely have a chance to right the ship. I think there's plenty of opportunities in the coming weeks. But yeah, man, we're down to the last game. We're down to that Colts game, and then we can see if Tua's coming back. I know there's some encouraging things coming out as far as I know he's meeting with a specialist this week. And aside from that, McDaniel said there wasn't any setbacks. Tua's looking good. So I mean, he's trending towards, you know, actually starting that Cardinals game.
So let's get to some of the takeaways from yesterday's win. We have Jevon Holland, who broke his hand on a play. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's definitely going to be missing some time. And from what we saw, too, he hasn't really been performing, especially on a career year. He hasn't been performing the way that we expected him to perform this, or not a career year, sorry, a contract year. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been performing the way that we expected him to. But onto some brighter news. We do have Jaylen Wright, who stepped in and looked amazing yesterday. Jonnu Smith also was used a little bit more in the offense this week, and that was exciting to watch.
Yeah.
You could see all the versatility, things that he could do on the field. He's a physical guy and pretty athletic too. So I expect for the Dolphins to use him a little bit more. And I think now that Tua's not in the offense, we need to lean on more of that physicality going forward. You know, so I think Jonnu Smith definitely helps out with that. And another positive thing to take away, Huntley seemed a little bit more comfortable out there. So I was happy to see Huntley looking better in the offense.
Yeah, one thing we don't have in here that I want to talk about is Alec Ingold. I thought he had a tremendous game. Blocking, he got that run. You know, he runs with power for sure. But especially in the blocking game, I thought he was fantastic the whole game. I think like I said, we're finding our identity, and I think it's trending towards us becoming maybe a more physical team, and I think that's fantastic. That's what we need, you know, to get through these weeks.
Right. More so than the win, what really made me happy was that I started feeling a little bit more like I knew what I was watching in the fourth quarter. I almost came to know what to expect. Like it was a different kind of football than what we've been accustomed to the last few years, but seeing the way that Alec Ingold was out there, Jonnu Smith, Jaylen Wright, even Raheem Mostert running the ball so well, that is a different kind of football than what we've been accustomed to, but it was a sight for sore eyes. We were able to move the chains and keep the time of possession, which you see the Dolphins really won that battle.
Yeah, just a total team win. We can take out the special teams. That wasn't a part of the team at this point, but the offense and the defense really complemented each other. And yeah, just I can't get much else out of this game because there were a lot of areas that there's a cause for concern still. But I think McDaniel showed that he's kind of out of his head. Like he's not in his head as much now. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stick to my game plan. I'm going to do what I have to do. And that's run the damn football.
Right. I think he finally realized that Tua is not out there. So
yeah,
that's now he's getting used to the idea, and he's like, all right, I got to do something else. And you could see that there. So
well,
that
I saw
awesome.
that they asked too, you know, in the coming weeks, if Skylar Thompson's ready to go, is that going to be a battle between him and Huntley? And he kind of just said, nah, I think we're sticking with Huntley. And he basically said he likes the progress that he's seen in Huntley, and you know, week to week, he's been showing more and more things. So kind of looks like he took over that position as the second string quarterback already.
Hey, you know, whatever gets us right for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for 150% bonus on your first deposit for up to $2,000. That's code YouTube150 for 150% bonus. But that's going to do it for today, guys. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll catch you in the next one. Fins up.